Cool. So I'm in probably my favorite place in Cleveland other than my store. It's Tommy's Restaurant, 2 doors down. I call it my office. I'm here 20 times a week getting refills on my iced tea with honey. Tommy's been here for 43 years. He's my mentor, one of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. But I figured this would be a good place. A little background noise, but I figured I'd just talk ad nauseum since that's what I do. Just want to give you a little history about Big Fun. I mean, you probably know the story, but I started 23 years ago with my father on retirement. Pops, a lot of people thought he was the owner, and he got me to get in business. But my father knew nothing about toys and collectibles or anything like that, but he did know a lot about people. And he was wonderful with customers, they call him Pops. Big Fun. People ask me for the past 20 plus years, actually almost 23 years, what I do, and I always said I owned a cool toy store, a vintage toy store, a retro toy store, or a collectible store, a gift shop. For the most part, I just said I owned a toy store. And then about 6 months ago, I came to the realization what I really do in life. And what I do in life is I make people happy. So that's it. Big Fun. Big Fun. I make people happy. So that's what it's about. Obviously, you can understand why Willy Wonka is probably one of my favorite movies. So Big Fun, as my one friend Ted puts it, is that safe place on the Monopoly board. I have customers who come in, they're having a really shitty day, and they can leave it all behind. The door closes behind them, they're in this like little fantasy land. Ted calls it the safe place on the Monopoly board for that. I mean, it's a special place you can come to and be yourself, you can be a kid, you can enjoy, and most people do that, and that's what's nice about Big Fun. 23 years is a long time. I jokingly said that I used to have hair back then, but that's not true. I lost my hair when I was in my mid-20s, and I'm going to be 57, but that line gets me a lot of good mileage. Every one of my employees has been a previous customer or is an existing customer. That's just the way it is. I got a call the other day from a headhunter, wanted to solicit business, and they wanted to see if they could place anything with me. And I said, that's just not the case. I don't want to waste your time. I'm going to save you some time. All the guys that have worked for me have been, guys and gals, have been customers, long-term customers, because they have to know what it's like to work at Big Fun and what it's like to enjoy toys. And so all of us are toy lovers. And the big joke at the store is everybody who works there, we're the land of the misfit toys. And that includes me. I mean, we all have our little, if you understand Yiddish, mishigas. We all have our little issues, our little problems. But, when we come to work at Big Fun, that's home. That's, again, like our customers, it's that special place, that safe place where we can do what we want and feel like it's okay. And so over the years, I've had employees who may not have gotten jobs at other places or may not have lasted at other places. But most of my employees are long-term employees. And the new ones are going to become long-term employees. And I think that's pretty cool. So right now, over there, I have Bobby. He has worked for me for 15 years, but actually probably closer to 20. About 10 years ago, he became a school teacher, an award-winning school teacher. He's got tats all over the place. He's got the bounty hunters on both his legs. He had multiple pierces, which now are pretty much closed. But he wears long sleeves when he works at school because that's the way he wants it to be. He wears a tie to work there. And when he comes to Big Fun, he's got shorts, and he's probably the guy that he always has been. Crazed Star Wars collector. That is one of the nation or international authorities. He's even been in documentary films. He's got this vast array of Star Wars collections in his house, and he's my go-to guy for Star Wars. Carl, I went to high school with Carl, so I've known Carl for almost 40 years. Carl's a character. In fact, we're all characters. Carl loves sci-fi. He loves Star Trek. He loves horror films. He's a makeup artist. His great line that everyone laughs at the store is, "That's why you pay me the big bucks." I mean, Carl looks like Super Mario. He was a Navy guy in high school. And he's our tech guy at Big Fun when it comes to technological stuff. And I'm not talking about computer, I'm talking about putting models together and things like that. And he's a great addition. He's been with us almost 20 years. Brian, Brian is Brian. I mean, photos will show Brian's, he walks his own path. I mean, tattoos on his fingers, wears black eye makeup. I don't want to say anything derogatory, but he kind of looks like a pirate. That's the way he dresses. He irons his beard. Who knows what's underneath his headdress? He could be bald for all I know. He's got hair coming out, but maybe at night he takes that off. He's completely bald like me. But Brian's been with me 15 years. Then we've got Ben and Justin. They kind of came as a tag team. They've been friends since elementary school, best of friends. And they were the guys that came to Big Fun and always bought our shit. And we said our shit because the guys who work there, everybody has this ego caste system. What they collect is the coolest. What anybody else collects is the shit. And Ben and Justin bought our shit. They bought the C and the D stuff, which, by the way, now is our A and B stuff, because everything's cyclical, and the stuff that they bought from the 80s and 90s has become very cool. And each of them have been with me. We kind of hired them together. Everybody normally starts out part-time and hopefully becomes full-time. They've been with me probably 10 years now, and they're great. And it's wonderful. Ben's got the dreadlocks. He wears it in a basket, and he's a good-looking guy. He's very charismatic. Women swoon over him. Straight women swoon over him. Gay women like him. Gay guys like him. Everybody likes Ben. Ben's a good guy. Justin, he's cool. I mean, I think almost everybody that works for me, and I could ask the film man here, but I think everybody works for me is either plays in the band or has played in the band. I think we can put together a whole rock group. We've got some guys that are uber tech music to guys who are old rock and rollers. So that's kind of cool. Let's see, who else do we have? Oh, we have Erin. Erin is, she's a little pistol in the sense that she's a radio DJ. She loves rockabilly. She's got all these cool tattoos. She loves her, oh God, I can't even think of her monster toys right now. But she has, we all collect, so everyone has her thing. And Erin just had a baby Violet, so she hasn't worked for 3-4 months. Now she's back in the fold again. She works 1 day a week. We've got a lot of people like work 1 day a week. They have a regular job, like Carl has a regular job, worked at AT&T for 20 years. He worked 1 day a week, Sundays. Alan, again, he's our G.I. Joe guy. And I'm famous for putting 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag in my store. You look at the store, and I think you've seen some of the photos. It's amazing how much I can stuff in the shelves. Well, Alan takes it up to the next level. He gets into airspace, so now we literally can put 15 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. And Alan creates a lot of the store merchandising. Everybody in the store does store merchandising, but Alan kind of sets it up for everybody to fill in the cracks there. I got Dave on the camera right now. Dave had a baby almost a year ago. He's got a wonderful wife. He's been doing t-shirts and designs like that. And again, he's been with me short time. He's been helping out with the website and social media and other shit that I really don't know. I mean, I'm almost like a voyeur on Facebook. I like to see what's going on. I made the mistake of posting a response to somebody that I thought was just to them, and needless to say, the whole world saw it. And luckily, it wasn't like typical response, which could have been very damaging. And I'm going through my mind, who else works at my store? This happens, old age. Let's see, so we have Ben, and we have Carl, we have JP. JP's our tech guru. He's the guy that fools around with the computer stuff and on eBay and list things, and he's also our Lego maniac. Legos have taken off like crazy. What was once a small little this much is now, I used to say 6 times, it's over 10 times. People are going Lego crazy, and I love it because, not just from a business standpoint, but from a kind of a cool standpoint that Legos are to be built, and creativity, and it's not a computer thing. The kids have to think about it, and it works with color coordination and building, and it's one of those science-like toys that's really cool that will continue to go up in value. So people that buy Legos today, it's not going to be like Beanie Babies where they're going to get burned. They've got legs. So let's see, I've talked about Bobby, I've talked about JP. Oh, Gwen. Gwen's a classical musician. She plays the violin, she teaches it. She comes in a couple half days a week and she's a whirlwind upstairs. She straightens up, cleans up, organizes. She combs our My Little Pony's hair. I mean, can you imagine this? Our store comes down to where we wash the clothes of G.I. Joe, and sometimes iron them till we comb the hair of the My Little Ponies. Gwen does that, and so does Audrey. Audrey's a relatively new employee. She does a lot of those those game offerings at conventions, cosplay or cosplay, whatever they call it. She creates her own costumes, pretty cool costumes. I mean, they take hours, 20, 30 hours to create. She dresses up and she does role playing in a lot of those shows, and she's really good in video games. Most everybody at our store has a specialty, which is really cool. And then they also have crossovers. So the guy that understands G.I. Joe is really good with Transformers, but that may not be a specialty area. And we tend to be very knowledgeable in a lot of different areas. I was taught at a young age to surround yourself with good people. I have an incredible amount of knowledge, of little bits of knowledge, enough to get me in trouble, but also to get me out of trouble. And I'm smart enough to surround myself with good people. And I've done that over the years. And, you know, for me, Big Fun is a place where I can be a kid. I won't grow up. I got the Peter Pan syndrome, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. As I said earlier, I make people happy. I put a smile on people's faces. People walk through the door, they come shopping, and they leave smiling. And it's a wonderful thing in this today's stressed out, crazy world. You feel better when you leave Big Fun. So I tell people, save the $100 at their therapist. You know, go see your therapist for 50 minutes. Spend 25 minutes in Big Fun. You can spend $5 and walk out feeling like a champ. And we like that. So we continue to make people happy. We want to make people happy. And my store attracts a lot of unusual people. And when I say unusual people, not just our staff, but I'm talking about the people that shop at our store. So we have a lot of regulars. And we call them characters, we call them regulars. We've got Alex, who lives upstairs now. He's been shopping our store for years. He'll be 28 in a week or so. Alex has decided to be a cross-dresser. He works down at the hospital 2 blocks from here, but he loves Big Fun. And Alex talks more than I do. And he talks so much that he drives us crazy in a way that he doesn't understand until we let him know. So we have to let Alex know that he's only allowed in the last half hour. So you can set your alarm clock with Alex. We're open at 8 o'clock, at 7:30 sharp, he's down in the store for the last half hour. With big boobs, a skirt, and shoes. We're sometimes normally dressed, but the creativity that goes into some of his outfits are beyond comprehension. I turned him on to a funky, cool used clothing store down the street. He was buying from the shelf, the women's stuff, and then he found out they had a dollar day twice a year. And he was buying, $50, $100 worth of accessory clothes, and he mixes and matches. He doesn't care. God bless him. Alex's favorite person on the earth is John Waters, and that gives you kind of an idea of Alex. We've got, I call him Puppet Man. He's known as Nate the Puppet. Nate is a guy that grew up loving and coming to Coventry for years. He's probably in his early 20s. Nate's a good guy. He lives, eats, and dreams being a puppeteer. He would love to be on Sesame Street or the Muppets. Those are his idols. And he spends every second creating and doing puppetry. And we have him help out at store if we're a little bit busy, and we're slow on staff or low on staff. And so he's just very thankful. But Nate parks outside on a bench right in front of Tommy's, and he's with this puppet. And a lot of people don't know what he's actually doing. He's looking at his reflection in the glass door or in the window of the store. He watches to see how he loses lips. And I'm telling you, hours and hours a day. And then Nate became friends, or actually he knew him before, Mr. Puppet, who's a good friend of mine. And Bob Abdu is a wonderful puppeteer who's done shows all over the country. He travels the country, everything from kid shows to adult shows to Beatles conventions. And one thing amazing about Bob, not only is his collection of puppets and ventriloquist dolls, but his Soupy Sales collection, his cartoon character collection. He has one of the best collections of all time. So he's another one of the host of characters. And then there's Dave TV, as we call him. That's Grandmother's Video. And I've known Dave for 23 years at least, because he was at my grand opening across the street on April Fool's in 1991. He had hair a little bit longer than mine, almost longer than mine. And now he has a ponytail down to the middle of his ass, a braided ponytail. I haven't think he's cut his hair since. He's been a videographer. He's videoed all the great punk bands and funk bands out of Akron and Cleveland, and Cleveland TV and Akron TV for 30-some years. And hence the name Grandmother's Video. But what he is to me is one of the greatest collectors of TV-related memorabilia, and I mean everything. There's probably 600 board games that are TV-related, you know, from Bonanza to What's My Line. I mean, he has, I think, all but 3 out there. So whenever I can find a TV-related product, I give it to him. And I stump him every once in a while, and that makes me happy because he has an incredible collection. He had the TV museum, which was just unbelievable. Just an incredible museum full of toys and related product, costumes, TV shows, clips, TVs. And I love being around Dave TV. My lawyer, John Lawson, incredible activist lawyer, Haight-Ashbury, May 4th at Kent State. Incredible lawyer, humanist, socialist, activist. What people don't know in that community is that he's this unbelievable, I use the word unbelievable a lot, but it's true, collector of toys. He has an amazing howdy-doody collection, but his knowledge of radio premiums and premiums from, my phone's ringing, I'll make this look. Solicitor, sorry. Cereal toys from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. I can show them a small portion of a toy buy. They'll tell me what else is in the toys. John's great. And the beauty of it is in the court, no one knows he's a toy collector. In the toy shows, no one knows he's a great lawyer. Then there's Little Stanley. I should call him Little Stanley. He's married to a neighbor of mine. Stanley's probably about 5'4". Started out collecting comics, and then he amassed one of the most amazing, incredible, unbelievable robot and space toy collections. And then Hanna-Barbera. Most recently, Stanley's collected 007 and sci-fi detective stuff. And just will blow your mind. I've got my friend Bobby, the most non-pretentious person you'll ever meet, has a mind-blowing collection of beer and Louisiana and signs. I can go on and on. And since this is one take, I won't go on and on because I've got to hit my iced tea with honey in it, which is what I do about 20 times a week. But I think this will give you a little bit of fodder of what Big Fun's about, what I'm about, what the people who work for me about, the host, and the cast of characters that come through the door. Most of these reality shows I know because I've been part of potentially one, and I have friends who have been on them. They create these characters. We don't create them. These are my friends. These are my peers. These are my colleagues. These are my customers. These are my staff. We're the real deal, and I'd love to bring it to you. Oops, I forgot Tom. Tom, or Tommy, is Tommy. Some people say he's the weirdest character in the store. A heart of gold. The knowledge that will blow your mind He cut his teeth on working at Toys R Us. He now works in a grocery store full time and then spends a couple weekend nights at Big Fun. He used to work for Trade, which is perfectly legal. Now he gets paid a check every 2 weeks. Tom, and I hope he doesn't take this personally, but he's the 40-year-old Virgil, and I hope maybe he's been late, but I don't think he has. You talk about collections. Oh my God. And Tom, like I've had holiday parties at this really cool funky bowling alley, this old school bowling alley. Tom, bowling, well, you'll meet Tom. Hopefully you'll meet Tom. And hopefully you'll meet the rest of the people. They're all wonderful. No fakes, no acting, all the real deal. But I bet you they could have if you needed to. Okay, my iced tea with honey. Number probably, let's see, today's Wednesday, probably number 12 this week.